mics just to make sure that Mr. Black can present and without distraction. I'm going to also mute myself. Mr. Black, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. Can you hear me okay? Good, good, good. Okay. First of all, welcome back. Crazy, right? We're here a little early, but like a lot of things that we teachers do, it's to make our lives easier later, you know? So yeah, no pay, extra time, it's still vacation, but you and I know we do a lot of stuff that's extra just to make it go more smoothly. And that's pretty much why we're here now. So my approach to Canvas with this workshop is, let's say, just pretend, imagine you haven't done anything with Canvas yet. You're just like totally haven't started. That's okay. Just imagine maybe that's you, okay? We're gonna start from there. And what I'm gonna show you is just the things that you need to know to get whoops, I forgot that I'm the host now, so I have to admit people. Okay, just the things that you need to know to get started. Okay, Canvas is like Photoshop or any other beast program. There's tons and tons of stuff that you can do on it. You can personalize it forever. Even Aries has stuff I'm sure you guys don't even use. It's there, a bunch of tools, right? It's just like that, okay? So what I'm gonna show you in the next hour is just what you need to know to get started on Canvas, okay? And coming from a traditional teaching background, meaning think about what you already do and how to kind of translate it, morph it a little bit so that it fits in the Canvas platform. Canvas is just, think of it as like a digital file cabinet, okay? It's where you put all your stuff, all your cool tools, all those folders of really juicy assignments that you saved over the years, all of that stuff. Except, unfortunately, for most of us, we're gonna have to do some typing and a lot of cutting and pasting to make what we used to do work in the Canvas format. Cutting and pasting will be helpful. You'll be able to do a lot with that. If you have a lot of your worksheets and documents already scanned or in a digital format, that's sure helpful too. It's not the end of the world if you don't, though. If you left school without scanning a lot of documents and things that you use all the time, like you photocopy them, you can use your phone to take a really nice screenshot of, or a really nice photo of it, upload it, and go from there. There are ways to get around the tech. There's also ways to get around having them print those worksheets too. Just kind of forget about it. One of the things we all have to figure out is how to translate what we already do into this weird format, right? So it's about taking all the classroom experiences and the housekeeping stuff that we already have to do and kind of putting it in a place. Canvas is a little bit tricky at first, but honestly, it's made so that everyone can kind of use it. So whether you're a teacher that needs a bunch of video, you're a teacher that wants to do a lot of files and documents and whatnot, it's kind of made that way for everybody. That said, try not to, quote, personalize it too much. That's a weird thing for me to say as an art teacher because I wanted mine to look real fun and dynamic and everything, but it is designed so that it works on every platform. So I know there was some discussion, some teachers wanting to put their stuff into Canvas and have it look just the way it does in Google Classroom or a document that they have. And that's a fine thing to want to be able to do, but it required using HTML. I don't want to do that. And kind of going around the tools that are built into Canvas to make it accessible to everyone. And that's kind of something you don't want to do, actually. So if you, quote, hack Canvas so that you can make it look good, you may be surprised to find out it does not look good. It looks even worse on somebody's phone, tablet, or their computer. So honestly, the personalizations are going to come in with images here and there, maybe at the top, an example from history or an assignment example, stuff like that. But it's not going to be crazy and dynamic. When you want to do stuff like that, you already know ways to do it. You have websites that you use, Edpuzzle, whatever. It'll be really easy, honestly, to just get them out of Canvas and into those other apps and websites that you normally use. Again, just think of Canvas as where they gotta go to learn, to figure out what they need to do for all their classes, okay? All right, so the first thing you wanna do is if you haven't downloaded Canvas or whatever or got access to it, definitely do it through the link sent by Chris Bonneman, okay? Because if you set up your own account, you can totally do that, by the way. You just won't be linked into the BUSD style of Canvas, because what they've done is they've personalized it to an extent. It's got our logo and all that, and the buttons that we've like subscribed to or paid for all there. If you go to Canvas and start your own account, which you totally can do, it will look and act a little bit different, okay? I do recommend you start your own account though and copy some of your stuff to it. One of the cool opportunities that using Canvas has made available to all of us teachers is we now have the ability, we did before, but it's really easy this way, especially once you've learned it, to make your curriculum about anything you want available. That means somebody can pay you to take your class outside of school, okay? So think about that. You're now a content creator, depending on how much original stuff you put there. You can totally market your own class. Just think about that. Side money. Maybe people want to learn the history of rock and roll or whatever. You never know. If you know something about that, you can teach your own class. Okay. Anyway, in the chat, something about the Canvas link. Then check your email. Chris Bonneman, I'm pretty sure, is the one that sent that out to everybody. Okay. All right. So next, I'm going to share screen with you, and I got to show you what Canvas looks like if you've actually set up a class and all of that, okay? Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, and if you guys have links to things that people ask questions about, please drop them into the chat. And then questions, I'll answer what I can towards the end would be great. So just keep them in mind or put them in the chat for later. Okay, so sharing, there it is, and that. Okay, so everybody, when you first start, you'll have something called the dashboard, and you'll have a sandbox. Now, the sandbox is where you can create all this stuff and then later put it where you need to. Now, since we're all about to start actual classes, I would recommend you do what I did down here. This is actually starting a class. So I have Advanced Art, AP Studio Art, and I also have one for Yearbook, okay? And I recommend you just outright start a class. Most of us have more than one prep, so it'll help you to keep things in place. If you build everything in the quote sandbox, it might get all mixed up with what's what. So make a course. How do you do that? You just go right over there to the right, start a new course, okay? You'll give it a title. Best class ever, of course. And then I just leave it private for now. You create course. Okay, and then you get into create a new module. Okay, and that's literally the first thing you want to do. Okay, I don't want you to even think about like you got to explore all these scary tabs on the left side. There's tons of them: rubrics, conferences, chat, Google Drive. What? You just want to know what you need to know to get started. So first thing is modules. Try to think in modules. Modules a fancy or a different term for units. We all teach in units of study. For some of us that have a textbook or a real chronological type of course, it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. For those of us who have more topical courses, maybe it's like the principles of design, the elements of art. What's cool about making modules in this way is you can revisit them. And that's really cool for a teacher like me who often repeats skill building activities, etc., to make sure people know, like reteaching, for example. So I might teach something about the using line in the fall, and that's part of that module, the element of art, okay? But then what's cool is later on, second semester, we do another line-based project. I can still put it into that module. So the modules become very thematic, very solid blocks or chunks of info, and you can move stuff around at any time, okay? So what's neat about that is I had people, and I only did this for summer, but it worked out really well. Maybe first week we were doing a bunch of stuff about the elements of art, and then third or fourth week we had something in that was an assignment or something that was related to that again, and so I plugged it into that same module. It helps the students to see it that way too, because then they're reminded of why they're learning or going over something and what it's related to that they already studied. And you know all that bridging and scaffolding is really good. And sometimes maybe seems like impossible, right, in this online format, but kind of these modules and how you put stuff really, really makes that possible. Okay, so I say start in modules. Now I'll go back to a class I already have. So here I go to dashboard, and I'll go to my summer school class because that one is most finished. Click on all courses and your past enrollments. If you've ever taught a class before, it'll be down here. Intro to Art, Period 1, Black. And then these are the modules. You can see art history is so dang interesting, cultural connections, special topics in art, space, the final frontier, to be an artist, life in color, you got to have values and a little texture, and so on. I get real creative, you know. Okay, so let's say one of the first things everyone's going to do is welcome your students. So let's pretend you're making a module. It's the first week, first 2 days of class. I called mine Welcome to Art class. Okay. Now, when you start a module, you have the option of making it so that they have to complete everything in the module, and that's good. Even if you add stuff later, it's still, it helps them as to keep track of things like a checklist. Okay. So complete all items. That's what you'll see there. When you do start a new module, which you can't on an old course, but I'll show you later. Okay, anyway, it's an option. It asks you. So here's Welcome to Art class. The first thing you're going to see is a page. Okay. Now, the three things I use most: modules, pages, assignments, and then the fourth thing, discussion. Okay. Those are what you're going to use all the time. Those are the things that make your online class like a real class. Okay. So the first thing is the module. So that's a unit, a bunch of a theme, a unit of study. Then you've got pages. Now, pages are an opportunity to give them a mini lecture or tell them what they're going to learn, a unit introduction. Sometimes think of a page as they missed your whole lecture. They weren't listening at all. Tell me about the element of art, or tell me about the brief intro that I need. Okay. And it doesn't have to be brief. So here's course overview. Okay. And that's just because it's Welcome to Art class. And this is a page. I put a little picture. I put some information actually cut and pasted from the syllabus and a grading policy. Okay. That's about it for that one. At the bottom, there is a way for them to click on to the next thing on the bottom right. Okay. After that, I recommend an introduction. Okay. So there, you got a picture of the family, who you are, and really important contact info. And notice all of the links in blue. That stuff is all easily accessible. Think of it. They're on a phone. They can just click it. They don't have to type it in. They're on a computer. Same thing. These are all links that'll take them to where you want them to go. And that is one cool thing, honestly, about having them online. They really do have to go where you want them to go. You know, we're going to watch a video. Oh, cool. Students start to check out immediately, right? Go online, check their phone, see what's going on. Well, half of them are using their phone for your class, so don't worry about that. They can't play any game while they're trying to follow along in Zoom or Canvas, okay? All right, so let's see. After your introduction, which is also a page, then you can do a discussion. And I do that right off the bat. Introduction. Who are these people in my class that I may or may not ever see in real life, right? So tell us about yourself. And what's cool about these things is you can make them graded. You don't have to, but I recommend you do, obviously, because then they'll be sure to do them, okay? When you do decide to create a discussion, and I recommend you put one in at least once per week, you can put questions, they can answer them. So what you're seeing on screen now are some of the responses. You can set it up so that they have to respond before they post. Users must post before they can see anything. That's kind of cool. And like I said, you can make these graded. Now, your discussions can be completely random, just want to know people, who they are, whatever. But if you make them as part of the lessons, which makes a lot of sense, then they become really powerful. For example, here's a module called To Be an Artist. So these are just activities and learning experiences that for me are about what a person needs to do to become a professional artist, okay? Keeping a sketchbook, listening to music, commenting on the work of fellow artists, figuring out what inspires you, okay? So for those, definitely put the discussion in the module. In other words, you can click over here on the left-hand side, discussions, and add a discussion. But I disrecommend that because it puts it in this weird no man's land of just discussions. And I think the discussions should be linked to your topics in your education in your lessons anyway, or your classes. So put them in a module. It makes it easier for the students to find them. What was that discussion topic about inspirational items? When was that? It's easier to say, it's not when was that, it's in the module blank. It's in the art history module. Just go do it, okay? Anyway, so when you do make discussions, definitely I recommend making part of an actual module. It's easier to keep track of them and easier to link them to actual learning, okay? So you've got modules, you've got pages. Here's an example of a page, or no, excuse me, an assignment. Assignments, you can do a lot of things with assignments. You know, you say, oh, well, I have quizzes type assignments. No problem, you can do that. Well, I have assignments where I want them to watch something, or I have Edpuzzle. No problem. It's as easy as just making a link here to make them go to do what you want to, okay? For example, I want them to copy a famous work of art in watercolor so they can learn some advanced watercolor techniques. So here on the assignment page, there's a brief instruction. And the instructions are brief because, yeah, I'm giving them background info so that they know kind of what to do. But this is also, remember, maybe they missed the lecture, maybe they weren't hearing it. And remember, one of the things that I think a lot of people, not us teachers, but a lot of people outside of education are forgetting is that students learn in lots of different ways. So this, you know, this whole like attention to direct instruction, yeah, that's great for kids who listen and respond well. But what about the kids that need to read it? Okay, so make sure that you are posting things like instructions to your assignments for that purpose. Okay, it's not just to supplement direct instruction. It's really for those other learning modalities. Okay, you can put a rubric here. If you want to get complicated later, not in my class today, you can look at the rubrics tab and have fun with that. For those of you who use rubrics a lot, it's definitely worth your time. During training, which I did twice, with Mount SAC once, completely different videos, and once with Bonita, so I'm heavily trained. And they did show us how you can easily score using rubrics. Not my cup of tea. I'd rather use something that's like on a piece of paper like this, but you can really, I mean, it was like setting it up in a grid, and you're just like, yeah, they did that, yeah, they did that, yeah, they did that, click, click, click. If you like that style, look up the rubric tab. Speaking of looking up, anything you want to learn about Canvas that you don't understand, it's so easy. You go to Google or wherever and you type in like, how do I link an assignment to Canvas or whatever. And fortunately, unfortunately, the word Canvas now online, it does not take you to art supplies. I'm so sad. It takes you now to stuff about this damn application. Whatever. Anyway, so what's cool is, let's say you need them to see something. In this case, I needed them to see examples. So here's the link, watercolor paintings to choose from in Google Drive. And hopefully you all use Google Drive. It's a real easy way. You say, I want to share the whole folder. You can share it. You get the link. You stick the link in the assignment and in your Canvas, and you're done. Here it goes. It takes them right to the link. And what's great about this is they can look at the pictures. If they need to, they can download them, whatever the case may be, okay? You can also do that with video type assignments as well, okay? For example, people are always concerned about showing a video during class. Are they really gonna pay attention? Okay, so here's an assignment I came up with. Visit a classical art collection. You could think of this as a video on any topic you want, okay? I went to the Getty Villa, not during COVID vacation, many years ago, and took tons of pictures of the place, okay? Like I was making the catalog, thinking I could use this one day. Wow, now I am. So it's my pictures, so no copyright infringement, right? And my own experience, so I can actually talk about the things that I'm gonna show them, okay? So what happens is, there's a picture of the villa, there's an information about the video they're gonna see, and then there's a video, Getty Villa Field Trip. Now you can post your videos within Canvas. You can see I clicked it and it just started downloading it. I don't need to download it. I have multiple copies. But you can have them embed, you can embed it, which is not that hard. You'll see when you go to make assignments, you can embed it. That means that the entire file is in Canvas. That's fine, but it does make your Canvas like fatter memory space wise, which only comes into a problem if you want to like outright copy your whole course. Then it says you've got too much memory. Okay. So the easy way around that is you don't have to embed anything. You can make them links. What I like about making links, especially if you posted something to YouTube, is now you also have YouTube analytics and you've made something public, which, as I said earlier, thinking about Canvas as a money-making opportunity, perhaps making some of your fabulous lectures online public, accessible to the public, might make you some money too. You never know these days. Everything's different. Anyway, how would they show that they actually watched this video? So check this out. For 20 points, they had to submit a file upload. And I told them they would do what? Watch the Getty field trip video, take a screenshot while a work of art you like is pictured, submit the image, and in the comment section, ask 3 questions. So that's a lot. So now you can see, I can go to SpeedGrader, even though this class is over, all this stuff is still accessible. And here I can see Tyler Pardis, 9th grader, took a picture of this statue. This is called a herm. I know it's weird, but it was a common thing to have the head and only that part on a statue in ancient Greece and Rome. I don't know why, but that's how it was. So there it is. Anyway, Tyler thought that was a pretty interesting sculpture. I can see why. And then he includes in the comments the questions that I asked them. And these are questions, this is called visual thinking strategies, where you want them to question, but you're not necessarily telling everyone the answer. That's what that is, VTS, they call that. Anyway, so they came up with the questions. So that's a really easy way to keep kids keep tabs, honestly, of whether or not they're watching stuff. Because I know some of your subjects, you have to have them watch a video or a PowerPoint, stuff you've already made. Use it to your advantage. Some of these videos that I used, I made a few years ago. Now they're sitting there making screenshots of them, telling me about my vacation. That's right. I even had one where I had them go look at the pictures that I posted on my Watercolor Journey website of our trip, school trip last summer to Japan. And I have a lot of good captions, so there's info. And you had to take a picture, screenshot, save the photo, whatever, and then put it into Canvas just like you see here in front of you with some comments. And some of them, they had to go and actually find more information about the thing. So they weren't just comments in that case. So it required a little bit of independent research. Okay. And I show you that just because I think that's such a different way of keeping a track of students and of an assignment in general. We show videos in classes all the time. You never really know if they're actually listening, right? Well, now you do. Same thing with discussion. Same thing with anything that they submit. I'll be honest, my students submit a lot of artwork, right? I don't write on the back of work. I don't want to comment that I write to like permanently alter how a kid feels about their work, right? So I'll definitely post the grades in Aries or whatever. But in this case, everything's online. So I had to give comments about every single piece. Now, often that's just something that's said in passing in the classroom. I really like how you did this, that, and the other. Good job on your exam, whatever the case may be. Good work, right? Well, now that's not enough. And that's more work for us, honestly. But just think it's a different way of spending your time, honestly, you know? Instead of walking around the classroom and giving everybody some kind of verbal comment, well, now you're typing it in. Speaking of verbal comment and / typing it in, it's pretty effective. And this Canvas does have vocal recognition. So some of the comments, they were getting really long-winded, you know? You got to add more shading in the background. Don't forget to cite your references because we had a paper, or whatever the case may be. I tried out text-to-speech. It's in Canvas, and it worked so well. A couple of times I had to change a few things, but it was so easy to say, you know, 3 or 4 sentences and have it pop right up, right in Canvas. I was really impressed with that feature. It made it very easy to leave lengthy comments. And if the spelling's wrong, dude, everyone's used to that nowadays. Don't even worry about it, right? Chat spelling is totally different. You know how to spell probably now? P-R-O-L-L-Y. Easier to type, probably. Isn't that crazy? I know. Yeah, you learn that from a student. All right, so what else? Let's see. So you've got your modules. Pages. Pages, again, are information, little bits of stuff you want to tell them about something. For example, here's Space, the Final Frontier. That's an element of art. So here's the page. picture tells them what kind of stuff we're going to learn, and a description or definition of space. Okay, that's just an intro to that. If I really wanted to hold them accountable for that, I could make it an assignment. That's what you can. That's what you can always do with that. Nice. Okay, so you've got page, it tells something, and then you've got your assignment. Okay. If you want, you can include discussions, just showing examples of student work. Okay. And then let's see what else in my notes. All right, discussions, those are the interactive components. Definitely put them within your modules. Also, another way to get interactive, most of us, I think, are going to be using Zoom, and Zoom does have a cool feature that you can make polls. So a lot of times while students are in the waiting room, I'll have them answer a poll. And it's just a fun way to keep them engaged, let them know you're actually there, even if the class hasn't started yet, you know, because it does take 5 to 10 minutes to get everybody kind of in there and working. So often I'll put a poll. One of the things is that's another way to keep track of whether or not people are doing your assignments outside of class or your educational experiences, let's say, because that could include like watching a video or listening to an audio or a podcast or whatever the case may be. Okay, let's see. Aside from that, discussion, yeah, so the polls were good for that. Okay, now, next thing, announcements. Okay, announcements do not have to be set up during or within the modules. Okay, announcements, you click on the announcements tab and then you can create one. It's really easy. The add announcement is not available on this particular tab because this is a class that happened already. Announcements are how you're going to tell your students like everything you need to, including don't go on to Canvas because it ain't there, like all that stuff. Because it's super easy, even easier than emailing everybody through Aries. It's even easier to email everybody through Canvas. It is. And there's like some automatic answers that you can use, and you can, right. So daily agenda question, good question. So daily agenda, here's an example. Let's see. Wednesday, July 8th. Okay. So sometimes there's an image there. This was the Venn diagram for what do DJs, bank robbers, and preachers have in common. You can see that they all say, put your hands up. All right. And then you've got welcome to Wednesday. You'll have time today. So this is anecdotal kind of agenda for the day. But you can see how you could easily do that. Now, what I told my students from the very beginning during summer school was check this first. And they'll get an email. They don't even have to go on to Canvas. They'll get this announcement in the form of an email. Right. Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you about that too. All right. So there you've got that. And you can see what if I have a note for the class, whatever, highlighted important info, links to actual assignments. That's pretty cool. Like it can go directly from your announcements to an assignment. You want them to get started on sketchbooks, whatever, a journal, DOL, you can have them start that before you even get there. Now, this also is a way that you can make up that time everybody's so dang concerned about with us, right? This is interactive time with the students, giving them something to do, right? You can totally count that as time on task or DI or whatever you want to call it. But there's your daily agenda. For me, it was kind of, broad because we were doing projects. We'd work on them for half an hour at a time, but you can be super detailed in this. Now, what I always had in every single announcement, I cut and paste just in case, because you know how it is, a link to the Zoom meeting. Now, this is something that I put in every single announcement so that it was always there. Because sure enough, I'd have a student join on a new device, or they're at their friend's house, or whatever, or more likely a grandparent or whatever. But either way, and they would be able to go to their web or their email and click this live link and continue on. So daily announcements, agenda, any stuff like that, you can put in what we call announcements. Down at the bottom, you can also, this is not you can't do it here, but let's see, I'll go to dashboard, go to an unpublished course, announcements. I want to add an announcement. And you can even start writing these today if you want. You may even have agenda type stuff, print it up from the past. You can cut and paste all that right here. Boom, boom, get going. You can copy it from your syllabus too, which I'll also mention a little bit. All right, so announcements, topic title. Hey, welcome to class, our matey, whatever the case may be. There's your block to put in your text. Post to. This is pretty cool. Let's say you have a generic announcement you want all your classes, regardless of the subject, to get. There it is, all sections. Or when we have actual classes to choose from, this drop down will allow you. Let's say you want just your art students to do it, but not your history students. Perfect, you can do that, okay? If you have an attachment, a file, something you want them to see immediately, you can do that. I always did delay posting, and then you post it at whatever time. Every day, my announcements were available at 7:30 for the go-getters. I think most of our classes are going to start at 8 or 8:30. So, you know, it's up to them. I've been getting up early because it's so darn hot. Yep. And so every daily agenda is a different announcement. It's up to you. If you want to do a different announcements by the week, that's fine. You can do an announcement per month if you want. It's absolutely up to you. Almost anything you think you want to do, you can with this program. You just kind of got to figure it out a little bit, okay? So let's see. Again, with the announcements, you can delay posting. So you can write your welcome back to school messages today and have them ready, and then boom, they just pop out automatically, and that's really, really cool. Okay, so announcements. All right. Now I want to talk about the syllabus. Syllabus, such an important thing, right? We always talk about that, or at least admin always talks about where's your syllabus. We got to know, we need to see the map of what you're going to do for the entire year. So here's how you here's how you do that, okay? Right there on the syllabus tab. Oops. Let me show you with the classes I've already done. Okay. Now, as important as we all think the syllabus is, it's kind of not. But you do have to put it. So here's what I did. Copy and paste the headline, heading stuff, the big info that's at the top of your syllabus, okay? It's not going to look fancy, and that's fine. There's no HTML involved with this. I want it to be accessible. It's important. I want everybody to be able to read it, okay? So there's all the basic information for the course. Now, let's say you love your 12-page syllabus. I know I do. Download a complete syllabus here, okay? That's it. They can download it. They can print it. They can look at it. They can put it under their pillow, whatever they want to do with the syllabus. And let's say you're like me and you get into week 3 and you realize, well, we're going a little slower or faster. You can update that thing at any time just by uploading the file. The file will literally replace the old file. They'll never know you changed anything. It's awesome. Let's say you want them to turn in a copy that's signed. You want them really to prove that they had a conversation with somebody at home about your class. No problem. Have it submitted as a screenshot. They can do that, okay? You can also have it convert your syllabus so that the PDF is editable. That means they can sign it, like the thing we had to sign saying that we are all going to be teaching from home or the classroom. Same thing. You do that. Speaking of worksheets, if you really like worksheets, right? Think about just the answers. And you know, I don't mean not complete sentences, English teachers. I just mean just the answers, okay? So I mean, you still have your old worksheet that you've been using because it's amazing and has everything you need on it, right? But now they're just putting in their text box or whatever, number 1, and the response, okay? You just get used to that. It's how it is. It's not going to be written in there. If you really want it written in, that's cool. But then you got to make your editable PDF. And then are they going to type in it or what? That gets a little tricky, right? So honestly, I would say use your old school worksheet if you want to because it's classic. It's got everything you need on it. Just have them submit answers. We don't have to print anything. I don't know about you, but I haven't printed anything at home since, I don't know, 10 years ago when I got a laser printer in my classroom. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments. There you go. Yeah, see, people already got all kinds of stuff. Kami, which is Japanese for paper, so that makes sense, is awesome for worksheets and filling them in. So there you go. Okay. Let's see. Dr. Red Fox was asking, is this a page, an announcement, or a module? Ooh, I'm not sure which thing you're referring to. Can parents have access to Canvas? Yes, they can, and I'm pretty sure they did during summer because they were asking me very specific questions about some of the things that I had on Canvas. Speaking of which, when you're talking to your students, remember that there may be other family members. And I don't mean you're going to say anything inappropriate. Just keep that in mind, because I do happen to get a little bit goofy when I'm hanging out just with students. And then I would get emails from parents saying, "We loved your lecture." I'm like, "Oh my God, what is that? Who was watching? How many people are in that room?" So, think about that too. The page we're looking at, yes, thank you, sorry. This is the syllabus tab, okay? So the automatic thing that the syllabus does, what they call syllabus in Canvas, is this course summary. What it does is just puts all the experiences and things you've created into a date format, okay? That's their version of syllabus. You guys are teachers, you know this is not a syllabus. This is just a list of stuff that's in your syllabus, right? So feel free to do like what I did and kind of ignore that and put your own syllabus online so that they can access it, and then your most important information up at the top. Okay? Yeah, it does this part automatically, this course summary. It just starts generating this based on your due dates. See that? Wednesday, June, whatever. Yeah. So again, is it what we would all consider a syllabus? No. I think they should have called it something else, like I don't know what. I don't anyway. If kids are looking for a syllabus, that's where you should put it. But I found most students were getting to what they needed to do through the announcements, because you link everything, or the modules, or the assignments tab. Now, speaking of which, take a look at the left. You see how some have an icon for an eye crossed out? Those are things that are not accessible to students on this particular course, okay? So the things I used all the time, announcements, modules, assignments, discussions, grades, people is just a list of your students and their some basic info. Syllabus, but outcomes, quizzes, I did different ways of using quizzes than the built-ins, okay? Chat did not use, I used discussion instead, and so on. Conferences, files, these other things are there for you to learn about and use, but you can turn them on or off to students. One comment I got from a student, my daughter, who took a class with us this summer, was that her teacher had made the assignments tab not visible. Probably an accident, but it was one of the ways students did find their work, so don't make that one inaccessible. Files, however, is a good idea to make inaccessible. Files will allow them to see kind of every little bit and piece that you upload, and they may get confused looking for a file and they'll download the wrong one. So I also made that one not accessible to them. If you want to have them download something or see a file, you know how easy it is, just like in Zoom, to just plug it right in and they can check it out any way they want to, okay? Syllabus, files, grades is another tab that you will use, and that is just like an Aries grade program. Now, there are ways to sync your grades with Aries, and during the summer, it got a little tricky, so I did not bother trying to frustrate myself, and instead let Canvas compute the grades all summer, let the students check their grades through Canvas, because it was accurate. And then when grade reporting time came, I simply opened Canvas and plugged the letter grades right into Aries where I needed to. And that was it. I didn't trust the tech. I didn't trust the syncing thing. So it was better for me and more responsible for me as a teacher to continue keeping track of grades in Canvas where the students were going daily. Aries was literally just for attendance at that point. Okay? So grades. The other tab most of you will want to look at probably would be quizzes. And I did not use their quizzes, but it is not hard. I saw the little video. You can watch videos on anything that you see or are interested in learning through Canvas or about Canvas. Okay, let's see. Settings. Each of your courses can have a cute little picture, and that's pretty much all you really care about when it comes to settings. So for example, this is the Intro to Art class. Down at the bottom, it says settings. Course details. This is the picture I'm talking about. Now, why would you want to change that? Because, and I've seen it from a student's point of view now, when they log into Canvas, they see a little icon just like that for all their classes. Okay. So if yours just says like your topic, and that's kind of boring and sad maybe. So it's really easy just to put a picture in. You go to image, you click right here, choose image, and that's it. And that's a way that you can kind of personalize that. Super easy. Okay. And again, it'll look kind of like this. When they go onto theirs, they'll see their different classes, just like you see here. Okay. All right. Let's see. And that's just one thing I would do just to differentiate your class slightly from the rest. Okay. Now, you're making classes because I told you that's probably the best way to do it. It's the easiest way to keep track of what you're doing. When it is time, when we get classes, when we get lists, I don't exactly remember how it was in summer school, but all of a sudden they were there and I had a module or a blank class, right? With no modules or anything. Okay, nothing there, just it's all there was students. Okay. Then you're just gonna go to best class ever, because that's this first class I'm doing, right? You're gonna go over here, import existing content. Okay, this is the one you want if you've done your work. If you haven't done your own work, you might want to check out import from Commons. And you can check out Commons without importing first, and that's good, but that is over here on the left side. And that's other people like us who have uploaded stuff and made it available for the public so other people can download it. Right now, I'm kind of control freak. I want to make sure I get it down correctly and learn it the right way, so I'm making all my own stuff. Again, try to make your own stuff in a class that you've started. Okay, so here's my blank class, import content. Select, copy a Canvas course. Select a course. From my summer class? No. From Advanced Art or AP, which are the classes I'm teaching this fall. See, this is why I'm telling you, set them up in a class, even though it's not published. I'll go to AP Studio Art, let's say. All right, include completed courses. That was in case I wanted to copy from my summer class. Content. Do I want to copy the entire class? No, because the class, the best class ever, I want to just copy my first module, the welcome module, because it's kind of similar and I can just change it. Okay, so I'll click select specific content. Also, definitely adjust events and due dates. Now, I don't want to adjust anything. I actually want to remove the dates. Calendar is going to be totally different. So I don't want to have any due dates locked in or messed with, okay? So don't include them. Then you click import. After that, you're going to see you want something from AP Studio Art. What do you want? Select content. I only want welcome to AP Studio Art class module because I just want to copy that and adjust it for welcome to the best class ever module. I select content and it's queued. This is a weird thing. I had to call in about this. It's because I guess so many people are using this, they're already started, that it actually has to do some kind of, I don't know, cyberspace movement of files that has to be done in an order. See, it's completed there. And now that, what does that mean? That means now when I go back to that class, the best class ever, already got that welcome module. Isn't that cool? But it's not going to be AP Art. Okay. It's going to be welcome to the best class ever. Done. Update module and continue. Okay. This is your work working for you. And that's what you want to do, man. Nobody wants to do more work than we have to, right? All right. How do you make it inaccessible as a student? You go right here. Good question. I think it's over on this side. All right, I'm not finding it right now because I don't remember how I did that, but I'm telling you it's easy. And if you just type in, how do you make something inaccessible to students in Canvas? I bet you'll find it. In fact, why don't I do that? It was easy, I know that. How do I restrict files? Click the files. files and folders, how do you make things visible, invisible? Yeah, it's all there. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Let me check out if there's any good comments or questions here. Kalo says, instead of an announcement, daily Gen IQ first page and modules. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can use it the way you see fit, you know? I guess at some point we're all going to streamline it a little bit more so that, excuse me, where am I supposed to be over? So that the students' experiences are somewhat similar, but Canvas does that for you, you know, by everyone using the same verbiage, vocabulary, modules, announcements, discussions, you know, it's going to make sense for the students for sure. Because for us, maybe it doesn't make sense. We only have one insertion of this and dealing with it, but they're going to have 5 or 6, so they'll get it. They're going to figure it out. Okay. Um, let's see. I feel like I said a lot of stuff. Honestly, I hope that makes it easy for those of you who are ready to start. Just pick one of your favorite units to study or to teach and start with that one. It's probably easiest, okay? And just break it down. Is this some bit of info I want them to know? It's a page. Is this something I need to keep track of? It's an assignment. Is this something I wish I could have a talk or a discussion with them about in class normally? That's a discussion, you know? And then, of course, a quiz. Yep, we got here. Right. Good question. Kayla, when you require all content in module to be completed, do you do so sequentially? No, I do not. And the reason why is because I wanted to be able to add stuff into the modules because they were thematically related and not chronologically. So yeah, I didn't put sequentially. I just felt like maybe it might make it not work for me as well. You know, I didn't know if that meant I wouldn't be able to move it around. So I just said, no, it doesn't have to be. The sequential, the order comes when you tell them when to do it, you know? You give them a deadline or whatever, then they're going to know when you want it to be done in which order. And then Dr. Red Fox says, I feel it should be a standardized way that we can all present our classes through Canvas. It does kind of make our classes all look similar, which is both good and bad. But yeah, I think all the teachers are going to be utilizing whatever resources they individually need or are comfortable with. For example, my daughter had world history with Mr. Ketterling, and he used Edpuzzle. So there were a lot of times when my daughter had to go on to Edpuzzle, and I understand he had put in some questions that directly related to what was happening in the documentary, and then they kind of had to do that. Maybe in the classroom situation, you play it live and everyone sits there with paper or whatever, but you know, they're very focused online. I think that some of the people who, you know, aren't involved directly with education, some of the concerns are really gonna be pretty negligible. You know, even something as simple as discipline. You know, it's really easy to find out who the jerk is when there's a picture and a name and all of that. Yeah. Yeah, no, Dr. Red Fox, don't let it freak you out. You'll be okay. There's just tons of stuff. Think of it as like, you know, the Home Depot. You don't need to go down every aisle, right? You just go where you need to. Unless you're like me and you feel like going there for 2 hours and you really do want to go down every aisle. You could totally do that. I just don't know if August 13th is the right date. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly think you guys, and I know I'm just talking to you because you're here, but anybody, if you have friends who are like on the fence because they really want to continue barbecuing and all that, do it, but you got to get on this. And even like I said, if you just start by making some modules in a fake class that's not published, you'll be so much further ahead, you know. Because I knew I was teaching summer school, of course, I took a lot of paper content that I had in my classroom home with me so that I had some of that information to either photograph, cut and paste, or outright type again. Some of you may need to visit the classroom. I think some of you are in a really good position if you have a textbook. I don't have a textbook, but a lot of the textbooks have some online components that are definitely useful. Okay, so maybe a question for Crystal. When are the students going to be able to access Canvas?
We were actually told that they didn't want our classes accessible to the students before the first day of school, but we're aiming for the night before so that kids can have a chance to make sure that all of their classes are up and we can help quell some of the anxiety that students will be having about online school. So earliest is the night before. District's really aiming for not until the first day of school. Correct. That's correct, Monica. That if you publish them, they will not be able to see them. We're not going to push them into their student accounts yet.
Perfect. Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
If everyone could please join me, and they get their Chromebooks during registration. So today was the first day. Seniors got them today. Juniors will get them tomorrow. Sophomores on Monday and freshmen on Tuesday. So those are already starting to be handed out to everyone. But I would like if everyone can please help me just thank Mr. Black for everything. That was a lot of knowledge, and I just want to tell you, Mr. Black, I appreciate you giving us definitely a place to start framing our mind around in creating our class. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a break. Mr. Black, if you can give me back the hosting of the meeting so that I can hand it off to Mr. Holman afterwards. We're gonna go ahead and take a stretch break, or go to the bathroom if you have to, grab some snacks if that's what you wanna do. And then you come back hopefully and join us for Mr. Holman's presentation on student-centered learning using the Canvas classrooms. Mr. Black, again, I can't tell you thank you enough. That just
Sure.
a great.
No problem. Thank you, everybody. Try to enjoy what summer vacation is left. And I hope I didn't confuse you. Honestly, I just wanted to talk about the 4 or 5 parts that you really need to get going. So I hope that was okay. All right. Take it easy, guys. Let's see. How do I give up a host? This is something I have not done before.
I might be able to steal it back from you.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Alrighty. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and run to the bathroom real quick. So I'm going to stop my video, but I'm going to put some music on in the background while we get ready for Mr. Holman. Oh, Mr. Holman, I'm going to go ahead and give you then, if you can hear me, sir, I'm going to make you the host so that you can start to allow people into your presentation as well. Again, thank you, Mr. Black. I'm going to stop my video for a second, but I am going to share some music.
No. Nora, no.
Now we are.
Oh my God, it's gonna be fine. I know it's weird, right? I was worried about it too, man, but all of a sudden they just show up. Same thing with the Zoom meeting, like they just show up, you know? It's crazy.
Teaching to a silent audience is a bizarre experience, isn't it?
It is. And I would say out of 40 kids in that summer school class, maybe 8 to 10 had their videos on the whole time. Yeah. You just have to get used to it. It's just one of those things that's different now. We don't ever really know if they're paying attention anyway during class. So, you know, whatever, honestly. And you know that they're paying attention because they do the assignments and they do them the right way. So whether they paid attention, found it out on Canvas, or found out from a friend, I don't care because they're totally learning, you know? That's the point. Nora, what's up? You have unmute yourself.
It's a totally mental change, completely another way. Because, you know, in classroom, we can tell them, you can't copy, you need to do it yourself. But now, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
true.
Thank you for your presentation. Oh gosh, I'm so anxious.
Yeah,
Now,
I hope. Yeah, I
Thank you.
hope it helps. I hope it helps. You know, it's the same thing like years ago when, and Dr. Red Fox remembers this one, because you had to come to my classroom and teach me, the reluctant learner. I did not want to go to online grading. You remember?
Yes, this is now going to be payback.
It was like WebGrader or something horrible. I think it was pre-Aries. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you came to my classroom, you sat down right next to me, and you clicked, and you did it. And I appreciate that.
Of course.
It's kind of like that.
I feel like that's what I need, you know, at least because I have 3 different classes this year, and I feel like I need someone to sit with me and literally show me how to do it. And Cocalis has come over to my house twice already to do that, and I still feel like I don't fully get it.
Yeah. Have you started doing any creation of modules or any of that?
Yeah, what I was doing, I was making each day a module,
Ah.
which Cocalis told me to do it like you're doing it, and so I don't know why I was being like difficult and not doing it that way. So I feel like I'm going to go back now and create an announcement for each day. But it's just like, even like linking websites to something the kid, the kid, where the kids click on it and it takes them somewhere, like even that little stuff, I don't, I feel like I have to do it like 10 times before it sticks.
Yeah, that is a thing you'll do a lot, probably, honestly. And that it's literally this, Monica. It's just, you have that other website open that you really want them to go to. You highlight the address, Control C, and then you go into Canvas where you're creating the new assignment or page or whatever, and you Control V it, and it is live, and that's it. Honestly, they'll go directly where you want them to go. If it's a folder of images or text, a bunch of short stories already in PDF format you want them to choose from or whatever, make it in the Google Drive, and then just you get the shareable link. Make sure you make the choice where anyone with the link can use it, not just BUSD and all that. And then they'll be able to see a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with anything, we'll all get better at it and add more tools. Like right now, everything I explained to you guys, I feel comfortable about, right? So now I'm going to continue learning this thing and learn what the other stupid tabs are that I haven't been using since I have that time. But honestly, if you as a teacher haven't made your first like 2 or 3 weeks worth of modules and assignments or learning experiences, it's going to be tough. Because what ends up happening, I only had one class this summer, but what ends up happening is all this work just starts coming in. And you can't grab that stack and just put it over there. It's digitally reminding you, you need to grade this stuff. And there's tons of it. And it just comes through whenever they're ready, whenever they finish it. So that you want to kind of do all this stuff in advance as much as you can, just to prepare for the honestly deluge of work that we're all going to get.
Yeah, many of us have spent decades perfecting what we do. And I'm just pouting about that, like I need to like slap myself and get over it, because it's frustrating that I feel like I'm a new teacher again.
Definitely felt that way before I started learning it. Absolutely, for sure, Monica. I think after you like just the simple thing that we clarified with yours, don't make modules for every day. That's an announcement type of thing. That's going to save you, because you can imagine modules, real big chunks of info, real big, month-long type of experiences, that sort of thing. And just think of it that way, and then plug in your assignments, and then a few pages in between. And all the stuff that you make, by the way, can be moved around. All of it. You can I put it in the wrong module. You can move it, no problem. Okay.
That's awesome to hear the fluidity of the program and everything.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Mark, to impugn on your time there.
No worries at all, right? You got seconds to spare, actually. All right, so as everyone gets ready for Mr. Holman's presentation, I did email out a resource that he wanted us all to have. I believe it's actually what we're showing right now. I keep accidentally using the wrong mouse. I use the mouse for my laptop for my computer. But if you can, please open up that resource so that you can see what he's talking about here. Thank you again, Mr. Black. I don't know, I think I've said it 4 or 5 times, but I can't say it enough. Mr. Holman, I know you're going to do an amazing job. I'm really excited to hear what you have for us. I've given you the host. I'm going to mute my video so that I can eat my lunch. Sorry, been here. Okay, and so go ahead, Mr. Holman. It's all yours.
All right, guys. So if you guys want to post any questions into the chat, once I get done, it's going to be about 15-minute video. I just videoed myself, quite frankly. And so